Chullin Daf Kuf Aleph. We were discussing yesterday Isser Chalal Isser. If a person eats two Isurim together, he eats a non-kosher animal together with the Gida Anosha, the sciatic nerve. How many is he over on? Does he get two Malkas, two Isurim, or none? Rabbi Shimon says he doesn't get any. Why? The answer is because when it comes to the Isser of eating a non-kosher animal, it has to be something that is edible. The sciatic nerve, according to Rabbi Shimon, is not edible, doesn't impart any flavor, so the Isser of a non-kosher animal is not over. So at least he should be over on a Gid Anosha. The answer is he's not over on a Gid Anosha because it says in the Pasuk, Al Kain Lo Yochlu Bnei Yisrael's Gid Anosha. It has to be something that's Roi La'achila. A non-kosher animal is not Roi La'achila, and therefore he's not over on the sciatic nerve at all. And now we're going to be learning in Ein Isser Chalal Isser, there are three concepts that we're going to be learning about. One concept is called Isser Koilo. The other concept is called Isser Chomer, and we're also going to touch upon the Isser Moisef. Says Rav, if a person eats a nevela, he eats the sciatic nerve of the nevela, the Gid Hanosh of the nevela. Nevela is a kosher animal that dropped dead. So it's usher to eat a nevela, but in addition to that Isser, he's also eating the sciatic nerve. Says Rav that according to Rameir, he's chayev two Isurim. Why? Because nevela is an Isser Koilo. What does that mean? Until now, there's an Isser on the Gid Anosha just on that specific location of the Gid Anosha, the sciatic nerve. Then the animal died, so it was koilel, it added an Isser to the rest of the body of the animal, and because it was able to be added to the animal, so you added also to the Gid Anosha as well, and you're chayiv two Isurim. According to Chachamim, we're going to see Chachamim is actually Rabbi Yossi Aglili, the Gemara proves, you only chayiv one. They also hold that a Gid Anosha imparts flavor. Just they hold ein Isser Chal al Isser, even on an Isser Koilo, even when it's a big Isser that goes to the whole animal. However, everybody admits that if you eat a Gid Anosha that's also from a Shar HaNiskal, Shar HaNiskal is also Bahana. Shar HaNiskal is an animal that killed a human being, and they sentenced the animal to death. So it's Asr Bahana, you're not allowed to enjoy it, you're not allowed to benefit from it. So therefore, if you ate a Gid Anosha of this Shar HaNiskal, you'll be over twice. Why? Because over here, it's an Isser Chomer. This is the concept of Isser Chomer. What does that mean? That since the animal is also Bahana, and Rashi sticks in a little nature, that the Gid Anosha itself wasn't Asr Bahana. You're allowed to benefit from a Gid Anosha. So we just added into the Gid Anosha itself, we added this concept of Asr Bahana. So once we snuck in there and we added the Isser Hana there, so we could say that you're over two Isurim. A person who's tamei and eats kachim on purpose, he's chayiv karas. Anytime we have a person that's over on karas, if he does it b'mezid, if he does it b'shoigeg, he's chayiv achatas. So if a person were to eat kachim, tar kachim, b'shoigeg, he's chayiv achatas. Person who eats, he himself is tar, and he eats kachim that the kachim are tamei, he's chayiv malchus. The machlokes is, what if a person is tamei himself and he eats kachim that are tamei? So if he himself, the person himself, was tamei first, and he's looking at this piece of meat and he says, this piece of meat is tahar, if I eat it, if he eats it, he's chayiv karas. And then the piece of meat became tamei, so now, according to everybody, he's chayiv karas. But if the piece of meat was tamei first, and then afterwards he became tamei, over here is machlokes. Chachamim say it's an Isser Koilo. Why? Because now that he became tamei, he's usher to all the meats, all the kachim in the world. So it added, the Isser added, and once you have an Isser that adds something to other things, it also could apply itself to the original Isser, so you chayiv twice. And Rabbi Yossi Aglili, and that's the Chacham that we were talking about before, says there's no such thing as Isser Koilo by Isser Chalal Isser. That Isser is not Chal on another Isser, even by Isser Koilo. Now the question is, but we did say before that an Isser Chomer, like Shar HaNiskal adds itself to another Isser. So how come over here we don't say that this Isser of Karas should add itself to the Isser of a non-Karas thing? Food that's Tamei is not Karas. If he himself is Tamei and he eats his Karas, and that should be Isser Chomer, says the Gemara, no. Because here's a big chiddush. A person that's tamei and he's chayiv karas, he can go to the mikveh and undo his tumah. So it's considered lenient compared to the meat, because meat that's tamei could never purify itself. So according to what we just said, if we have a situation where Yom Kippur falls out on a Shabbos, so we have to be geiris that according to Rabbi Yossi Haglili, you would only be chayiv one, because he holds there's no Isser Koil, there's no Isser Chalal Isser by Isser Koil. According to Rabbi Akiva, you'd be chayiv, if you're shoygig and you did an Aveira b'shoygig on Shabbos Yom Kippur, you're chayiv 2 chatois. Why? Because he brings a pasuk, it says Shabbos he, Yom Kippur hu. But Rashi explains here, and here we're going to touch for a second the concept of Isser Moisef, that Shabbos, you have Shabbos and Yom Kippur on the same day. What does Shabbos do? Shabbos adds to the Isser because Yom Kippur is the Isser Karas, and Shabbos added, it's Isser Moisef, that you get capital punishment. The Bezdin kills the person if he's over on Chil Shabbos. On the other hand, you also have Isser Koilel for Yom Kippur, because if it was just Shabbos, a regular Shabbos, you're not allowed to do Melacha. And since it's Yom Kippur, not only are you not allowed to do Melacha, but we're adding other Yisurim you're not allowed to eat, so that's considered Isser Koilel. Rabbi Yitzchak wants to learn in Rabbi Yochanan that Rabbi Yossi Haglili will hold that if you have a Shabbos Yom Kippur, you only chayiv one. And which one is it? Only for Shabbos, says Rabbi Yochanan. Why only for Shabbos? We don't consider Yom Kippur at all, because Shabbos is, so to speak, first. Because since Shabbos comes every week automatically, you don't need a Bezdin to institute a Shabbos, but you need a Bezdin to institute Yom Kippur. They have to say when Rosh Chodesh is and therefore when Yom Kippur is. So it's as if Shabbos comes first, and you always have this sort of Shabbos. Says Rav, I don't understand. But at the end of the day, once Bezdin instituted that Yom Kippur should be on Shabbos, so they both come in at the exact same moment, but it's Sekechavim. How can you tell me that Shabbos comes in earlier? Therefore, Rav says a completely different shot. That what Rabbi Yochanan was talking about is something completely different. He was talking about a shmad, he was talking about a situation where the Goyim said, do not keep Yom Kippur. You can keep Shabbos, but don't keep Yom Kippur. So what Chacham did was, they said, let's pretend it's Yom Kippur on a Shabbos, even though it's not really Yom Kippur, so that the Jews shouldn't forget that it's Yom Kippur. They said, this coming Shabbos is Yom Kippur. And then somebody who's over, let's say he ate on Shabbos, he's over in Yom Kippur, since it's not a real Yom Kippur, that's what Rabbi Yochanan said, he's not over in Yom Kippur. And going back to the Mishnah, and this is our last piece for today, Rabbi Yehuda said that the Gid HaNasha applied all the way back from when the story of Yaakov Avinu and the Malach happened. So the Gemara here adds that, wait a minute, it says, Akein lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael is Gid HaNasha. And they weren't called b'nei Yisrael back then at that story, they were called b'nei Yaakov. And if you're going to tell me that they were called b'nei Yisrael at a later date, during when they brought Yaakov Avinu to Mitzrayim, it says, Vayisu b'nei Yisrael is Yaakov Aviyam. Well, it's either that the Isser started at the Gid HaNasha point, or it started at Matan Torah, but it can't start at some random date. And therefore, Chasei Chachamim, it started at Matan Torah, and not at the story of the Malach and Yaakov Avinu. Have a wonderful day.